Today we're going to be listening to Aatrox, the Darkened Blade. Now I've seen the login screen, I understand that Aatrox is some sort of demon. Let's explore what the music tells us about Aatrox and then look at the lore, look at the gameplay videos, and look at some cinematic trailers. I've never played League of Legends in my life, completely blind reactions. Here we go. That stepwise motion down and then boom. It's interesting because that has a demonic sound to it. It roots us in the character of Aatrox or Aatrox or however you pronounce this. But then on top of that, it has this quality of, well, devilishness, I guess. It sounds like we're in a cave. Boom. He's underground. There's a sense of coming out of the earth. That movement indicates focus, it indicates determination, it indicates a will to go and do something, right? There's a real sense of forward momentum, which we always understand when there's a bit of rhythm. Rhythm is the motion of music and the motion of melody. And so when we have that rhythm like that, especially with the electric guitar, choosing that electric guitar as the source, not only does it give Aatrox a voice, but it also showcases a determination to achieve what has to be done. That's so freaking cool. You have that choir, and of course, the men stand out. For whatever reason, this is very much a video game trope where we have men as the demonic sound. Women tend to be the celestial voice, the voice of God, the voice of purity, and men tend to be about masculinity and power. In opera, actually, basses usually play devils, assassins, and they play, not so good people. And so it's interesting to hear this even in video game music. Those tropes are similar, where one thing that's really interesting in this is that we've never lost track of that dum dum dum. And actually, now that we're in this music, it really sounds like Aatrox is ascending into Runeterra or into the universe to destroy it. There's not any aspect of this that's a good thing, right? That's really coming across in the rhythmic intensity and also how we just shift into this epic headbanger section. And it's cool that they use this sort of metal sound as to drive forward that point. Wow, this section is unbelievable. The virility in this sound. It almost feels like Aatrox is the purest essence of evil, and an evil that will consume and feast and collect being for Aatrox's army. There's this real feeling of like, you will all be mine. You know what I mean? There's a lot of descending sound quality here. It starts up and then it descends down. I think down because maybe Aatrox lives in a type of hell in Runeterra. So there's always this stepwise motion down, even though it resets and does that again. That's the rhythmic pattern there. Then it fades away. Also, I'm looking at the champion teaser, the World Ender. I think I got that right. Yeah, I mean, seems like Aatrox has one thing in mind, and that's to show up and destroy the planet, I guess. Let's check out some lore. Whether mistaken for a demon or god, many tales have been told of the Darkened Blade, but few know his real name or the story of his fall. Wait, is he the blade itself? He can turn into a blade? I don't think so. In ancient times, long before desert sand swallowed the empire, a mighty champion of Shurima was brought before the sun disk to become the avatar for a now forgotten celestial idea. Remade as one of the Ascended, his wings were the golden light of dawn, and his armor sparkled like a constellation of hope from beyond the great veil. Oh, something bad happened. Aatrox was his name. He was at the vanguard of every noble conflict. So true and just was his conduct that other god warriors would always gather at his side, and 10,000 mortals of Shurima marched behind him. When Setaka, the Ascended warrior queen, called for his help against the rebellion of Icathia, Aatrox answered without hesitation. But no one predicted the extent of the horrors that the rebels would unleash. The void quickly overwhelmed the Icathian masters and began the grinding annihilation of all life it encountered. After many years of desperate battle, Aatrox and his brethren finally halted the void's perverse advance and seared the largest rifts shut. But the surviving Ascended, the self-described Sunborn, had been forever changed by what they had encountered. Though Shurima had triumphed, they all had lost something in their victory. Even noble Aatrox. And in time, Shurima fell, as all empires must. Without any monarch to defend, or the existential threat of the void to test them, Aatrox and the Sunborn began to clash with one another. And eventually this became a war for the ruins of their world. Mortals fleeing the conflict came to know them instead by a new and scornful name, the Darken. Fearing that these fallen Ascended were as dangerous to Runeterra's survival as the void incursions had been, the Targonians intervened. It is said that the aspect of Twilight gave mortals the knowledge to trap the Darken, and the newly reborn aspect of war united many in fighting back against them. Never fearing any foe, Aatrox and his armies were ready, and he realized only too late that they had been deceived. A force greater than 1,000 dead suns pulled him inside the sword he had carried into battle countless times, and forever bound his immortal essence to it. Okay. The weapon was a prison, sealing his consciousness in suffocating eternal darkness, robbing him even of the ability to die. For centuries, he strained against this hellish confinement, until some nameless mortal was foolish enough to try and wield the blade once more. Aatrox seized upon this opportunity, forcing his will and an imitation of his original form onto his bearer, though the process quickly drained all life from the new body. In the years that followed, Aatrox groomed many more hosts, men and women of exceptional vitality or fortitude. Though his grasp of such magics had been limited in life, he learned to take control of a mortal in the span of a single breath, and in battle, he discovered he could feast on his victims to build himself even larger and stronger. Aatrox traveled the land, searching desperately, endlessly, for a way to return to his previous Ascended form, but the riddle of the blade proved unsolvable. And in time he realized he would never be free of it. The flesh he stole and crudely shaped began to feel like a mockery of his former glory, a cage only slightly larger than the sword. Despair and loathing grew in his heart. The heavenly powers that Aatrox had once embodied had been wiped from the world, and all memory. Raging against this injustice, he arrived at a solution that could only be born of a prisoner's desperation. If he could not destroy the blade or free himself, then he would embrace oblivion instead. Now Aatrox marches toward this merciless goal, bringing war and death wherever he goes. He clings to a blind hope. If he can drive all of creation into a final apocalyptic battle where everything else is destroyed, then maybe he and the blade will also cease to exist. Wow, so in order for him to die, he wants to cause mass destruction so that he then can be set free. That's really cool. And also, I didn't realize that he himself was actually the blade. Let me take another pass at this music really quick. I think what I said was basically accurate. Right, so I actually think that da-dum-bum is actually him inside the blade. This desire to be freed. Like something stirring in there, you know? And it's almost like he's saying, finally I get the chance to be let out of this damn cage. Let me out. Let me be free of this. And then this silence is when the thing happens. The man handles the blade and then he consumes the body. Right here. Now I understand why we never lose that because that's the blade. That is the theme of the blade in my mind. And so the connection there is, yes, you could be free, but you're never really free because the prison still exists. Really, really cool. So of course, this is Aatrox, the Darkened Blade. I'm really excited that I've learned about him. Feel free to check out more of the videos in this playlist right here. There's gonna be a lot more League of Legends to come. There's about, 190 some odd champions? We'll get through all of them. Thank you so much. If you like this video, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe. There's links in the About section if you want to support the channel. And as always, thanks a ton, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.